Thank you. Morning, everybody. So, yeah, Janet Bev from Social Progress, and welcome to this webinar on Facebook advertising and understanding your results. So we've got quite a lot to cover this morning. It's been great to see already. We've had lots of people sort of introducing themselves through the chat, which is fantastic, and introducing to each other, and also explaining what kind of businesses you're running, which is great for me to see those coming through. I won't be able to see a lot of the chat as we're going through the webinar, obviously because I'm focusing on the delivery, but it is always useful for me to find out what kind of businesses people are running. Okay, so we'll get going. As Andreas and Helen mentioned there, there's quite a lot of different webinars coming up. So I've just put this as a link from the digital enterprise side of things, which you can probably tell from my accent, I'm in Yorkshire. So these are some of the ones that are coming up in the next month or so. I don't think we've got any into June and July yet, but I know there is some planned for later on in the year. But these are just the ones that are coming up just throughout May. So have a look at those. Some fantastic webinars that are happening at the moment, and they're all available as well afterwards on the YouTube channel for Digital Enterprise. So have a look at those as well. Really useful, and some great speakers at the moment. So, you know, a brilliant opportunity to get some really good knowledge at this moment in time. Okay, so just a little bit about myself. So as you know, I'm Janet Bebb. My business is called Social Progress. You'll see it in the bottom left-hand corner there. On most things, on you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, we are, if you look for Social Progress, you'll find us. And that's the link to our website at the bottom there. We also have a group called Pro Digital Hub on Facebook. Do have a look at those and you know, engage in those, ask your questions in those. We're always, you know, looking forward to hearing people's when things have worked, when things haven't worked. So share your ideas and your results in there as well. That would be great. So as it says there, 15 years as a trainer, 10 years in business support. So I used to be a business advisor before for Business Link before doing what I do now. I've been 8 years, nearly 9 years actually, Social Progress. I'm an accredited Facebook and Instagram trainer. So you'll see bottom left-hand corner there, a couple of badges that are from Facebook. I work with Facebook on something called Facebook She Means Business, but I also work with them as an accredited blueprint trainer. So if anybody's doing the blueprint training, if you had any of the frustrations that I did, then it's quite an experience, only because, not because of the content, but because of the how you have to set your room up in order to do that actual online test. You think getting on a webinar is difficult for some people, but doing that test is just horrendous. So, but it's not the test itself, it's just the conditions that you have to set up. So I've been working with Facebook and Instagram for about 4 years now, just over. I've been to Facebook in Dublin and Facebook in London. So can you all see my screen? I've seen a couple of people that can't say they can't see the slides. Let me just see if I can share again. It looks like it's lost that link. Can you see that? Hopefully you can. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so apologies, I did share it. I don't know what happened there. So yeah, so that was the slide I showed before. So this is just a little bit about myself. So apologies for that if you couldn't see that. Don't know what the link happened to the link there. But yeah, as it says, an accredited trainer for Facebook. And I've been working with Digital Knowledge Exchange for the past few years as well. I'm one of the top 100 in the Yorkshire region. Also one of the top 50 advisors for Enterprise Nation, and I'm an accredited and qualified business coach, as it says there. So and that picture there is when we went down to Facebook earlier this year Cheryl Sandberg was there, and those are the other trainers across the UK that are Facebook accredited trainers for the She Means Business programme. It's a brilliant place to go and see. It's fantastic. It is exactly what you'd expect it to be, in that everybody is really relaxed, and it's, you kind of see somebody just sat on a chair in a alleyway, or and there's loads, and they're just on a laptop working. It's there's free teas, coffees, ice cream, sweet station. Yeah, I'd love to work there. It'd be brilliant. But there you go. So it's a good place to be. So a lot of the information that we get is direct from Facebook, and the slides that I'm going to share with you we are very lucky to be given the slides from Facebook that we can then deliver. However, I have to say that because they aren't my slides, sometimes I kind of look at them and go, don't know what the heck I'm supposed to be talking about here. I do know what I'm talking about, but when it's somebody else that's created your slides, it's sometimes a bit challenging to get the message across, let's say. So there's a couple of slides in here where I will actually be almost reading from a script, and it's only because their case studies and the case study information is much better if I'm sharing what they've said about it rather than me trying to make the words up, let's say. So what we'll be covering is, I've broken it down into 4 different sections. So how to build an effective advertising strategy, how to create your Facebook ads, how to build an audience using Facebook pixels. Now that might not be relevant to everybody, and that's fine, but we have put that in there. I thought it'd be useful to put in about pixel codes, only because I do feel it's something that a lot of people are challenged with. So we're going to go through some setup sort of solutions for pixel codes. It is the thing that I think a lot of people get stuck on, and it's not relevant to every single business. So don't worry about it if it's not relevant for your business. And then finally, we're going to look at looking at the results and your metrics, and seeing if we can analyse those a little bit and finding out where we would do that sort of thing. So hopefully that'll be useful. There are some resources. There's 4 downloads that you can get. They're all from Facebook themselves and not my downloads, because this webinar is kind of taken from 4 different workshops that Facebook have given us through Boost with Facebook. There's a handout for each section. So some of it overlaps. So I couldn't do a handout that kind of covers everything, and some of it overlaps. So definitely have a look on that link there. It isn't part of our website. You have to physically type in that link, and then you'll get the 4 different downloads. They're all free. There's no charge for them. So just have a look on there and download them. You don't need them for the webinar, I have to say, but they're useful resources for after the webinar, just to help you kind of get some thought process and start to formulate your strategy and see what kind of options there are in terms of the advertising that you can do. Okay, throughout the webinar, we will be having a couple of breaks, and that's just because I can't see the questions. And if anybody wants to ask some questions, as Andreas said earlier, put them in the questions and answers bit. Andreas will capture those, and then we'll go through some questions if we can part way through. It's after about the 3rd section, I think, and then there's another option to ask some questions right at the end. So pop those in there. I'll try my best to answer what we can. I'd also recommend that you get yourself a piece of paper. As it says, use the chat for questions and the questions answer section, but then put down, what your 3 takeaways, what are the things that you're going to do, what are you, and on the back you might write win, learn, change, and it's just, what are you doing now, what you're going to do differently, and what do you feel that you've learned from the webinar that you could implement after today. Okay, so as we start, section 1 is how to build an effective advertising strategy, as it says there. And what we're going to cover in this section is defining your business goals and your target audience, understanding your customer journey, and setting some advertising objectives for Facebook. So before we start, just in the chat, possibly, let's do this. So who's never tried advertising, who's given it a go, and who seems to be working but they're not quite sure. So just put in there 3, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, yep, okay. Lovely. So we've got a mixture of people on the course. We've got some people that have never tried it, some people that have done some advertising, which is great. And yeah, probably there's a real mixture of people that have never tried it, some that have given it a go, and some that seem to be working but they're not quite sure. And so that's fantastic, because what you'll find in here is there is some hints and tips for all of you to take away. There's some stuff that's really basic, if you like. So if you're starting out with advertising, then that's great. There's some information in here. There's also some stuff in here that if you've given it a go and you're not quite sure if it's working, I'll give you some tips on what to maybe try a little bit differently, that could potentially work as well. So fantastic. So as it says there, Facebook gives you the ability to reach people where they spend their time, which might be in store, could be on your laptop, or it could be on a mobile. So it's about understanding, you know, well, which one do I try and how do I get people to engage with me? What kind of things should I be doing? And people come to Facebook to connect with friends, businesses, but nearly 2.3 billion people are using Facebook in any given month. That's huge. That's a massive sort of metric there, and we're probably seeing that even more because of where we are right now with with the lockdown and stuff. There's never been a better time to be on social media than right now, because a lot of people are at home, they're looking at the screens, probably more so than they did before. So so this is the ideal time to have your business on social media and maybe to try some advertising. It doesn't have to cost you a great deal either. So 2/3 of Facebook users across the countries surveyed said that they visited a page of a local business at least once a week. So, don't make the assumption that just because you're there and you're not getting maybe likes on your posts, or you're not seeing engagement, that they're not looking. They probably are still looking at your page. And 46% of people, that's nearly half everybody that's on Facebook surveyed, said they make a purchase online or offline after seeing a product or service on Instagram. So we're seeing lots of great results, and people that have got their Facebook and Instagram set up. Depends what your business is, but now we're seeing more and more businesses getting onto Instagram and seeing the results of that. And I think that's really important that you are possibly on both platforms. Depends who your demographic is, but in the main, probably most businesses are going to get something out of Facebook and Instagram. I was talking to a solicitor not too long ago, and I said, "Oh, are you on Instagram?" And they're like, "No, we're not." I'm like, "I think you need to be on there." I'm like, "Not another social media platform." This is probably about a year to 18 months ago, and I said, I absolutely think you should be on there, because you're going to see some benefits, and they are on there and they are seeing the benefits. So when we went down to Facebook, I think it was last year, the year before, one of the things that they said to us is that Facebook is for communication, Instagram is for inspiration. And obviously for some businesses, they find it a little bit difficult to find the visuals that show the inspiration behind the business, but there is stuff that you can do. So definitely have a look at that. So we're starting out with defining your goals, and you've probably already done this in some way, but and I've seen a comment in the chat that's saying return investment never seems to work out for me. And so this is why we put this in there at the beginning, is it is about working out, well, what do you want to measure? So, are you being specific? Is it measurable? In what way is it measurable? And we're going to go through some things to look at in terms of how you measure the advertising that you've put out there. So depending on the advert that you've put, what's the measurement of that advert? And sometimes I think we just end up advertising without really thinking about how we're going to measure that and what we're looking to achieve. So set yourself some goals, if you like. and try as much as possible to make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. You'll have seen this before. You'll have seen SMART goals, I'm sure. I'm not trying to sort of tell you something you probably don't already know, but within the advertising, the more you can be, you know, smart with your goal setting, then the better results you're going to get. So this is just a success story that, as I say, Facebook have put out there. So I am going to read this because it's not my words, but I actually wanted to leave it in there because I think that the benefit that they're seeing is amazing. However, I have to say that for me, when I looked at this, and probably a lot of you are the same, it's like, well, that's all well and good. They're a big business. And so that doesn't, we don't have the budget to do what they're doing. I just wanted to kind of get across how they've done it and some elements of that. So Clinique UK wanted to understand the true value of Facebook ads to its offline business. The initial objective was to measure the incremental impact of ads on offline sales. The second objective was to assess which creative asset were most efficient at generating online and offline sales. The solution was that Clinique UK joined with Facebook Creative Shop and media agency Manning Gottlieb to develop an iterative approach to advertising on Facebook known as Test and Learn, which is on the screen there. Clinique ran 2 consecutive campaigns promoting Moisture Surge 72-hour auto replenishment hydrating cream on Facebook and Instagram in the UK between December 2017 and May 2018. Before launching the campaign, Clinique needed a way to link its Facebook ads to sales. For online sales, the company could use a Facebook pixel, which is what we're going to look at later, to understand which ads led to people buying things on its site. The brand was not able to pinpoint whether Facebook ads drove sales of the moisture cream to Clinique's company, its own stores, so the actual stores. The companies usually can usually use Facebook's offline conversion tool, which matches sales data from physical business locations to ad views on Facebook. But with Clinique, it was unable to take advantage of this tool because it was such a huge challenge to upload its physical store sales data to Facebook on such a large scale. So Facebook worked with Clinique to automate the data upload process across the UK, which transformed the company's ability to understand the true effect of its Facebook ads. The result was, as you've seen on screen there, that Clinique transformed its Facebook campaign by measuring the impact of its ads on offline sales. And between November 2017 and May 2018, Clinique UK and Manning Gottlieb achieved a 22% uplift on online sales, 7% increase, 6.5% increase in in-store sales, and 9.8 increase in the likelihood of considering Clinique's moisture cream to others. So an estimated 1.8 billion people have been influenced by the campaign. So brilliant results, I'm sure you'll agree. However, I'm sure you'll also agree it's a big business and they've probably got quite a massive budget to spend on advertising. What I'm kind of going to go through with you is not about spending loads and loads of money on advertising. It's about, and what I wanted to put that in there for is 2 things. One, it's about testing and learning. So that's the thing. I think it's about changing your adverts and looking at how they're performing and changing those all the time. And that's something that I want to kind of get across strongly, is that it is about doing an advert, working out what's worked with it, working out what hasn't, and then changing it up when you've done those adverts. But it's not about spending a whole load of money and just throwing loads of money at it. It's about working out which adverts are working from it and which aren't. And so, you know, I definitely recommend you kind of start to think in that way. Okay, so goals can vary by business. As a restaurant, yeah, you might want to increase the number of dinner guests on weekdays to 100%, 100 per night during the month of December. So we're going to come back to these examples as we go through the presentation. But that's one sort of metric, if you like. My goal is to increase the people that we get coming into the restaurant during the week. I mean, clearly at the moment, we're not having that anyway because we've not got people going into restaurants, but it's just an example. An architect firm might want to generate qualified leads. You want to get email addresses, telephone numbers for projects that are over, in American terms, $50,000 for the next year. And an online jewelry store might want to increase the number of website visitors to 5,000 in the month of November. So those are the goals that they're set. So it's like we know exactly what we want to achieve by doing our advertising. These are the things that we're looking to gain from doing the advertising. So the first thing is to define who your target audience is. Now, it would be great if we could reach everybody and everybody wanted to buy our products and services, but they don't. So it's about working out kind of who does want to buy our products and services and segmenting that market and then working with those individuals. So what I'd like you to think about, and this is one of the handouts that you can download from the website. So what does your typical customer, what are the needs that your typical customer have? What do they need? And what does your typical customer look like? What motivates your typical customer? So you probably, I would imagine you've got a good understanding of what your customers are like. And this is something you kind of go, well, this is fairly simple. And yes, it is, but sometimes it's about revisiting this and obviously, possibly, we were talking about this just before we went live on the webinar. Sometimes your customers change because of what's happening in the world. So right now, because we're on lockdown, your customers might be slightly different to how they were when we were able to be in a face-to-face environment, let's say. So do have a think about, what your customers' needs are, what do they look like, and what motivates your customers. So what needs do your product or service solve? So how can you help that customer? What is it that you've got that that helps that customer to buy from you? Where are they based? So for some people it's local, for some people it's national, for some people right now that might have changed. So we have a business who they're a martial arts, they do martial arts training, and before lockdown, their demographic was local, and obviously because they want people to physically come to a location where they ran those courses. But now it's not local; it's national, it's international. They're changing what they do. They're changing how they do it. They're doing courses through online platforms like Zoom and Facebook and Thinkified, so all those different sort of different processes. So their demographic has changed. So, and whereas they used to run workshops that were for specific demographics, so it might be 3 to 5 year olds, 5 to 7 year olds, etc., etc. Now what they've seen is they need to be focusing on the families, because it's families that want to do stuff together at home. So think about, what your typical customer looks like and what are they, where are they based and what are their interests. And thirdly here, so what motivates your customers? What motivates them to try out your products or services? So, where are they on the customer journey, if you like? So in terms of the target audience, so again, back to our 3 examples, if we look at the restaurant, their needs are to socialise over good food. That's what they want to do. Again, I know we can't do that right now. The demographic might be between 20 and 35 in a certain area, maybe no children, they might be students or young professionals, etc., etc. So you can see, it's about really defining who it is that you want to come to your restaurant, if you like, and what motivates them. Because they may be students or young professionals, it might be that actually a promotion might be relevant to them. So maybe, you know, come along and, you know, have a meal with us and you get a free dessert or something like that. So it could be that the motivation is a promotion to entice them into your actual restaurant. The second option there is maybe they're looking to change their house. So it could be probably an older demographic, and because they might have a higher income bracket, maybe they're a college degree, so and a homeowner interested in you know, design, doing up their house or even moving, and so it's about understanding what kind of things are they into, what kind of things would they be looking at on social media, so yeah, motivation is recognition for eco-conscious buildings, so that they've got a real desire to have something built, but it's got to be that it's a cost-effective building, let's say. And then the third option is, which is, if you remember, it's a jewellery company, maybe a unique way to commemorate important occasions, engagement, pregnancy. You know, again, because in this occasion the jewellery was handmade, so it's not, you know, mass produced, let's say, so there's a higher cost to it, and they want something that's a personalised service. So thinking about your demographic there, so engaged or pregnant women aged 22 to 40, higher income bracket, and they've got an interest in something that's really nicely put together, and fashion, wedding magazines, that kind of thing. So do have a think about you know, your demographic. So it's also about understanding your customer journey. So where are your customers and where are you in that customer journey? So one of the things that we encourage people to think about, and when we're looking at the advertising, there's kind of 3 elements to it. So the awareness, consideration, or conversion. So are you trying to build awareness about your business so people maybe don't know about you right now? Is it that you want them to think about maybe engaging with you in some way? It could be that you're wanting them to use your services or come into your store, or, you know, there's a whole host of different ones there, and we're going to go through the conversion funnel as well. So it's about thinking about those different ones. So, and thinking about the right advertising campaign based around that conversion funnel, if you like. So these are some of the metrics of you know, setting up those adverts. We're going to go through a few of these and look at these in more detail, but basically, you know, if you were looking to get more website visitors, the metric that you'd measure is the link clicks. So how many people are clicking through to actually go to your website? So on your advert, are you looking to see how many people have clicked to say they've gone through to the website from your advert? In promoting a page, how many people have liked your page? So if you get more page likes, then it's working. So, and obviously that's one of the adverts that you can do. If you're looking to promote your business locally, are you reaching more people? Do you ask people? Do you say to people, you know, how did you find us? You know, how did you know to come to the store? How did you come to the cafe, for example? So it's about, you know, asking sometimes, or even, you know, just looking at that and seeing how many more people you're getting through the door. If it's a boosted post, are you getting more engagement on the post? Is it that people are actually commenting, they're liking, they're sharing? So those kind of things. If it's more website purchases, are you seeing on your cart, you know, the checkout, are you getting more purchases through the website? So, you know, there is some very simple metrics that you can put in place. If it's an app, and I don't know if we've got anybody on the webinar that's promoting an app, but, you know, if you're promoting your app, it's obviously the app downloads, and if you're getting more leads is one of them, then are you actually seeing more leads? So it's about that customer journey and understanding, if I'm trying to encourage more leads and taking them to where they can sign up to see our newsletter or get more information from us, are you seeing more people signing up for the newsletters or updates from your website? If it's a promoted call to action, are you seeing more people click the link and getting, you know, a lot of the call to action buttons now, one of the ones that we kind of recommend is you're taking people to Messenger. And so are you getting more messages? We were asked to do some trials before Christmas on using the, you know, the call to action button and encouraging people to go to Messenger. I don't know if you've tried that or not, but it's worth trying and seeing if you get that. It's obviously you've got to be on that and then responding to those messages. But maybe that's one that you could potentially try. Okay, so in this first bit, it's just about defining your goals, defining, you know, knowing who your customers are, and choosing an objective that matches your business goal. And there could be a few. So I'm not suggesting you just choose one. It's about choosing a few different ones. This next part is more about looking at the adverts in more detail and going through how we set up an advert and the different options available to you. Okay, so, and then we'll sort of see if we can, you know, see if what people are doing from this particular section. So what we're going to look at is growing awareness of your business, choosing the right advertising option, using the ads manager, defining your audience, and selecting the right creative and format. So out of interest, just in the chat, who's tried just boosting a post? So have you tried boosting a post? I know I asked at the beginning what have you done. So I would imagine that most people have tried boosting a post. That's fantastic. So loads of people that have tried boosting a post. Okay, yep, okay, brilliant. So a couple of people that haven't, but most have. That's fine. Yes, the booster post is there because Facebook want you to try and do some advertising. They want you to dip your toe in the water, if you like. But for a lot of people, I have to say, me personally, I feel that, and I have told Facebook this, I feel they've shot themselves in the foot by doing it. I understand that what they're trying to do is encourage businesses to try the advertising, but then people have boosted a post and then, oh, great, we've got some fantastic results. Tried boosting another post, not quite so good. Tried boosting another post. Well, that's not really working now. I don't understand why. And it's just because if you're doing the same thing over and over again, and it's the same audience that you're targeting time and time again, over time, you're going to see that you're not going to get the same results. You're going to get not as good results. So which is, it is fine to try and boost a post, and I'm not saying don't do that, but what I would say is it's now kind of taking it the next step, and what I'm going to take you through is a few different steps of how you can do your advertising slightly differently. So do think about your business goals, your audience, your budget, your creative. Those are the 4 components, if you like, that make up the advertising. What's your business goal? Who do you need to market to? How much have you got to spend? And what does it look like? What does it really look like? So, and through this section, what I'm going to talk you through is just some of those elements. As I said, yeah, most people have done this. They put a post out there. They've seen the boost post at the bottom of the post. Like, oh, yeah, I'll give that a go. And then they've tried to boost a post, which is, as I say, is fine. But it's just one way of doing the advertising. The next bit that you've probably done is maybe done some promoted posts. So on your Facebook page, you'll see down the bottom left-hand corner, which I'm going to show you in a moment, is how you can actually promote a post, and it gives you a little bit more information to put together. And again, it's probably the second way that you would maybe try to do some advertising. And again, I'll take you through this. So you'll see bottom left-hand corner there, promote, and I think the next slide will just probably take you through this whole process. So you'll see this. So if you click on the promote, you then get not just about boosting a post, but you've got a few other options there. And depending on your business, will depend what you see there. So not everybody's going to see the same options there. You might see something slightly different. It just depends on what your business is. But we've got, in that one, we've got 6 different options. I think there's a few more that they'll come across. Oh no, they haven't done on that one. But yeah, so you've probably got it on this bit. So in this case, we're going to take you through a scenario of promoting your page. So promote your page, you click on that, you'll get this screen, which then takes you through, okay, well, it's recommending a particular post there that it's found on your page. It'll kind of recommend the dates, times, that kind of thing, and how much you want to spend. So it takes you through a whole process that you can change up. So you have to put in your card details in order for it to do the adverts. So it'll ask for your card details if you haven't done so already, but then, you know, it takes you through that process of the advert. So we're just going to go through some of the ad objectives through that promote button. And I think these are quite nice, the way that it's put together and just explaining some of the different options that you've got. So for example, ad objective, it's the top of the funnel, if you like. It's just building awareness of your business. So you're wanting to promote your business locally. And in this objective, you know, your goal is to reach as many people in a particular area. And so you can set up the demographic in there, and it'll give you that option. And we will look at it in more detail in a little while. Maybe the next one is you want to just promote your posts page. So, you know, if you want to get more likes on your Facebook page, this is the ad objective. Out of interest, does anybody promote their page or not? Is it not something that you've ever done, or have you tried it? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. That's good, actually, because why would you promote your page? I don't understand. I understand why Facebook have put it in there, but to me, promoting your page is a metric if you're wanting to get more likes. It's a vanity metric, in my opinion. I'd rather have less people that like my page, but the people that do like my page genuinely want to be there for a genuine reason. So and actually probably chances are, if people like the stuff that you do, if they like your posts or they've seen other adverts, chances are they're going to like your page anyway. So in my opinion, this is probably the lowest of all the advertising options. It's, you know, the baseline, if you like. It's one that I wouldn't personally go for, but everybody's different. So so it's, you know, it's there to kind of get you noticed. And I guess if you're starting out in business and you haven't, I've seen a few people do this, if they've got a restaurant and they're not opened yet, one of the first things they might do is promote their page to get more people liking the page before they open. And then once they open, they've got a great big following already, which is potentially a good way to do it. So the next level up, so you'll see there, we've gone down to the next stage, the consideration bit, so is to boost the post. And as I say, you know, some people have already tried that, and it's not a bad thing to do. You know, if you're wanting to get, people engaged with your post, or if there's a particular post that you put together that you feel that actually that's exactly what my objective is. I want people to engage with this. I want people to see this. This is exactly what we're doing. Maybe that's the one that you should be going for. Next one in the consideration level is to get more website visitors. This might not be, and it wouldn't be the one if you wanted people to purchase from your website. This is not about purchases from your website. This is just to get people to your website. So, for example, our business, we sell some products, but very few. We sell a service rather than a product. And yes, we do want to get people to our website, but we're not there to get clicks through to the business, you know, to the cart, if you like. It's more about getting people there to see our our services. So this might be one that we would use to encourage people to go to the website, just so they can see what we've got on the website and what kind of services we offer. So, so that might be one for some of the businesses that are on the webinar today. Or it could be that you want to get more leads. So again, this is, you know, it might be that you're taking people to the website. It could be that you're taking people to somewhere like MailChimp, for example. But the objective here is to build that funnel and build more people that then you can be communicating with. So again, it's in that consideration. It's in that middle section, if you like, and I'll show you in how it looks in Business Manager in a little while. But again, as I said earlier, you know, about the website visits, it could be that actually one of the ones that you want to do is to get more purchases. So people buying more actually on your website. And so if this is your goal, it's the conversions element. So it's about making sure that your goal and your advertising spend matches up, so that actually I want to get more purchases. I'm driving traffic to the website and I'm going to capture that whole process. As it says there at the bottom, if you're doing this, you'll need to insert a pixel code to check to see if this is actually happening. But we're going to go through how you set a pixel code up in a little while, and I'll show you, you know, how you do that and whether you'd know whether it's working or not, that kind of thing. So another objective is maybe to promote an app. So if you've got an app, it is that conversion. It's getting people to download the app. And it is just taking people to the app and then seeing if people have actually downloaded the app. And then, you know, again, another one in the objectives in the conversion section is promoting your call to action button. So the objective is to get people to click pages, call to action. And that might be that it's taking people to Messenger. It could be that it's taking people to the website. It depends on what your objective is at that stage. Now, in all of this, you might kind of go, well, I've got no idea which is going to be the best option for me, because it could be a number of those. I'm not really sure where I am. Yes, I need to build awareness. I want people to consider my, you know, the services or the products that I've got. I want people to go to my website. I've got a whole host of things that I want to do, but I'm not really sure which I want to do. Now, there's a great tool that the Facebook have introduced called automated ads. So if you're not really sure, it'll ask you a few questions and it will recommend an ad objective for you. So this is just going to take you through that process. So you can click on promote, and I'll just let this go through. So get started with automated ads, and away you go, and it just takes you through that whole process. So what it's doing here is it's suggesting the creative, your target audience, your budget, and it's continually fine-tuning your ads to get you the best results. So rather than rather than it being guesswork, you're kind of going, okay, well, let me see what you're going to come up with. It's suggesting the creatives. It's, we've got the library that we can access in there. There is an actual stock image library in Facebook that you can use, or you can use your own imagery. So it's kind of creating all that for you. It'll recommend a particular where your advert's seen, who's your demographic. It'll give you a recommendation of how much you want to spend, but you can change all that if you wanted to. But it's just helping you to do those adverts in a more autonomous way, but in a way that's relevant to your business, rather than a boost in a post, rather than going through the promoting tab and you defining what that advert looks like. You could maybe try this and see how it works, and it's a great just a chance to find some things that maybe work for you. So as it says there, some tips for running effective ads with automated ads. Just answer a few questions about your business, take advantage of that option, run up to 6 ad versions at a time. This is something that, I feel that a lot of people, they just run one ad, and then they don't really get the results. But if you're running a few different ads together, what you can then check out is which ones perform better than the others. So and why is that? You know, is it because a particular visual is talking to your audience better than something else? Is it that the wording it's better worded? You know, it's about kind of looking at that and then just again testing and learning and working out what that how that's going. As it says there, run your ads for at least 7 days to let that kind of run its course, if you like. So, you know, one thing that I find that a lot of people do is they'll put an advert on and they'll maybe run it for, I don't know, a month. It's too long. When we went down to Facebook and the first time we went in, I think it was 2017, one of the things that they said to us is, don't run an advert for more than 2 weeks. I'm like, all right, okay. The reason being that if somebody hasn't engaged with it in 2 weeks, they're not going to engage with it. So you're actually wasting your money. So you're better off doing it for 2 weeks and then switching it off and then trying something different. Because otherwise, yes, if you put an advert out there, Facebook will let it be seen and they'll take your money if you like. But you're not going to get the same results. So run it for at least 7 days, but probably no more than 2 weeks, and then change it up. So you can run a similar advert, but change it up. So so it's just something that they kind of mentioned to us. Okay, back to our 3 examples. So the restaurant. So an advert that might be useful for them would be to promote their business locally. For the architect firm, it could be that they do the advert that's to get more leads. Simple. And for the online jewelry store, it might be to get more website visitors because they might not have a physical location, but they sell everything online. So create your ad, get your message right for your target audience, refer back to those needs that we talked about earlier and reflect on what motivates your audience. Maybe you could even ask that, you know, sometimes it's about putting a poll up on your page and just sort of saying, which is one of the things that we're looking to do with the martial arts trainer is, well, let's ask the question, you know, what do people want? Do they want something on a Saturday morning? Do they want something on an evening? So putting a poll out and making a few options, you know, we're looking to change our martial arts training. Do you want something with the family on a Saturday? Do you want something that's just for you on an evening? So we'll put a poll together and ask those questions, and that will give us some idea of what people actually want. So find out what motivates your audience by just putting some posts out there and asking them. You could just do it as a post, or you could do it as a poll, and then you're actually getting some real snapshot information back as to who wants that information, who wants to work with you, and in what way do they want to do that. So can you think about maybe doing some polls for your business? Okay, the next bit is looking at Ads Manager. And again, so this is almost like the 3rd level up. So your first one is boosting a post. Your second bit is clicking on the promote button on your page. And the third bit is using Ads Manager. Now we use Ads Manager and we'd highly recommend it because really it takes you through the process of setting ads up, and there's a lot more information in here. And for a lot of people, it can be a bit overwhelming. But it for me, I feel it sets it out in a certain way that my brain works in such a way that it's like, you know, down the left-hand side there, as I flick through here, it kind of gets you to think, well, what's my campaign objective? And all those campaign objectives are on the screen there. You might see something slightly different, depends on what your business is, but you can use one of those. Is awareness, consideration, conversion. So what's your objective first and foremost? And you click on one of those, and then it gets you to think about the process. Okay, who's your audience? Where's it going to be seen? Who's your budget? You know, what's your budget? When do you want it to be put out there? And then what does it look like? So I like this process of how it takes you through the ads, and as you select each bit, it'll tick each one of those, so you know where you are on the journey of putting an advert together, if you like. So yeah. So in this first example, we're going to look at, awareness. So it might be brand awareness, reach. So you're wanting more people to see your business, more people to find you, more people to be aware of you. So it's just, I just want people to know that we're here. So it'd be one of these. And if you hover over either of these in Business Manager, it will give you a little bit of a sort of an overlay that tells you a little bit more information about what that advert will do for you, if you like. And these are just some examples of reach. So the noise is from the advert itself there. So in terms of reach, what you're seeing here is the brand is strong. May 4th, yesterday, Star Wars Day, the brand is strong with these. So you'll see the brand identity coming out very much across all of these visuals. So the second one there, Coors Beer, it's throughout that visual, you're seeing the brand really strong there. So they're looking at, their objective is reach, but they're also making sure that their brand is front and center of that advert in those cases. And the third one there, so you'll see above each of those mobile phone snapshots, if you like, we've got an F for Facebook. That's what it looks like in Facebook. Instagram in the middle there, so that's what it would look like on Instagram. And the end one here is audience network, so an app. So if it was in an app, you can't do video within apps, but it would be, you're still getting the brand out there because they're getting the brand name across, and again, some visuals that show it quite clearly what they sell, boots. Okay. So the second element is the consideration, if you think about our funnel. So you've got various different objectives here. So traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, lead generation, and directing people to Messenger. In this example, we've got where they're doing an objective is traffic. We want people to go to a destination. In this case, it's the website. So they're doing a carousel advert in this case. So they're getting people to see various different visuals. And at the end of it, we've got where it's giving you the website link. So you can then click on that link and take people to the website. And again, in the one on the in Instagram on the right hand side there, you've got a little button that says learn more, and if you click on the learn more, then it's going to take you to the website. And then the final ad objective within Business Manager, the end result, if you like, is the conversion. So it might be that you're wanting to track the conversions of people going to your website and purchasing something. It could be store visits, as it says there, or it could be the catalogue sales. So you get more people to buy particular items. And so this is the type of advert that you'd run if that's what you're looking to achieve as your goal. And in terms of the conversions, you can track various different things. So purchases, leads, registrations, custom conversions, or none of these, but you have to have a pixel code in order to do this conversion type of advert. So, but as I say, we are going to go through how you set up a pixel code. And this is just an example of the conversion one. So you'll see here they've put a visual together, lovely pictures of the shoes and the what you can buy in the shop. But you see at the bottom there, Jasper's Boutique added shop now button to their page. So then they click on that and it takes you straight through to the website where they can buy those particular shoes. Obviously, when you're going to do something like that, make sure that the visual, the shoes that you've got in that visual are the shoes that are on the website. I mean, I think it makes sense, but sometimes you see a picture and then people like a particular type of shoes, like the pink and green ones in the middle there. But then if they go to the website and it's not there, it's gonna annoy people that those are not the ones that are there. Okay, so in terms of your audience and your budget, as I said earlier, yeah, we'd love to be able to target everybody. We know that that's not the case. Everybody is different on Facebook. Everybody uses Facebook differently, but it is using that data, if you like, that people give Facebook day in, day out, and using that to our advantage as a business, and just making sure that we're capitalizing on people's information that's in Facebook and targeting specific demographics, if you like. So there's 3 different things you can do with your audience. You can create a core audience. Now, a core audience is you kind of going, well, I think my audience is, you know, just like the examples that I showed on the screen earlier for the restaurant, the architect and the jewelry business, kind of working out, who do I feel my audience is? Where do they live? What do they do? What kind of income have they got? Those kind of things. The more you can understand about your customer, the better results you'll get. So that's kind of you going, I think it's this, and that's fine. And in a lot of cases, you probably are right, because you'll know your audience. However, what you can also do is you can set up custom audiences. Now, custom audience is, it could be from website visits. So people that have visited your website, that could create a custom audience, or it could be from people that have signed up to a newsletter. So you might get a whole host of people that have signed up to a newsletter, and you can use that data to your advantage to set up a custom audience. And basically what you do is you take that data from, if it is on your website, it's already probably the pixel code. If it's from lead generation, so it's in MailChimp or it's in your website, if you've got an email campaign software in your website, it's from that. Excuse me. And you can legitimately, as long as you've asked for people's permission to market to those people, you can take that data from wherever it is, whether it's in MailChimp or whatever software you use for email campaigns. We use Zoho campaigns, so we can take that data. If people have signed up and they've expressed that they are happy to be marketed to, we can use that data and we can upload that into Facebook, and we can target just that demographic, because chances are people will have put in the email address into the email campaigns, the same email address that they've used on Facebook. And therefore what happens is Facebook they don't see that data, they hash it, but they'll search for that information within Facebook, and then they will present your advert to that demographic. I mean, you might think, well, that's all well and good, but they're already working with me, they've already bought my products and services. I don't really need those people because they're already buying from me, which is fine. But once you've created that custom audience, you can then create what they call a lookalike audience. Now, a lookalike audience is, now let's say, I sign up for somebody's email campaigns because they make the most amazing ceramic jewelry. And I want to see all the other things that they make. I want to know when the latest ceramic jewelry is put out there. So I sign up for the newsletter, but then you go, well, I'm not going to buy loads of ceramic jewelry because I've already got some. But then your lookalike audience goes, okay, well, now that we've input Janet's data in that custom audience and we've set up a lookalike audience, what it will do is it will look for more Janets. So more people that are my age group, that are in my location, that do the same sorts of things on Facebook, that have got a similar revenue stream, those kind of things. So it's about using the data that's in Facebook that people are presenting to them all the time to your advantage. So, and that's called a lookalike audience. So I'd highly recommend that you try that. But obviously you need to have where you've got your custom audiences set up, and you've got permission to use that data first and foremost. So as it says there, core audience, you can select by location. You can select by the demographic, what are they interested in, what's the behaviours, what kind of things do they do on Facebook. And when you're looking at interest and behaviours, always go for, if you had the same category in interest and behaviour, because when you start to type in there, it'll tell you whether it's a demographic or an interest or a behaviour or a job title or that kind of thing. So when you start to type in there, always go for let me think about this. So it's the behaviours over the interest. What I mean by that is my interest might be, it isn't by the way, but my interest might be that I like BMW cars. So I might like the pages on Facebook of BMW cars. That's my interest. My behaviour, which is, by the way, is to engage with lots of bands and go to live music and go to concerts, and I'm missing them like nobody's business right now. But it is that, you know, engaging with those. And so therefore, you know, your behaviours, what I do on Facebook is much more important than what I like on Facebook. So it's thinking about those. So you set up your advert, you can define, you know, just take you back one step there. So is it men and women, what age bracket, where do they live, that kind of thing. And what you're looking to achieve is something that's kind of, the arrow is somewhere within that green space. And that this is on, you know, it's showing it at the bottom there, but you might see it on the right hand side of your screen when you're doing the adverts. Too small and you're not going to get enough people, you're not targeting enough people. Too much and there's too many people and you're wasting your money. There's too much being spent across a broad range of people and you're not being targeted enough. So have a think about those. Your custom audiences, as mentioned already, you're reaching people that you already know. So your loyal customers, people that have probably visited your website, maybe mobile users that you're already engaging with. But then your lookalike audience is, you know, this company did a lookalike audience. So they set up a custom audience, they ran a lookalike audience, and it is changing this up all the time, I have to say as well, because obviously your lookalike audience then become your custom audience, and then it's changing those up on a regular basis. So what they saw is an increase in sales year over year, 100%, by using lookalike audiences. As I said earlier, you can't create a lookalike audience until you've create a custom audience. So you create a custom audience and then you use that custom audience then to create your lookalike audience. And this is where you would do it within your business manager screen, or ads manager. Okay, you can also target people by location, probably not quite as relevant right now. One of the things that we've sort of said is in the past, like if you maybe you're I don't know, you sell kites online, and there's an event, you're in Huddersfield and there's an event in Birmingham all about outdoor experiences. You can't get to that event, but what you could do is run an advert over that weekend while that event's taking place. You don't need to be there, but you can run an advert that targets that location in wherever the event's taking place. You don't need to be there. But then guess what? As people have a break when they're going around an event or a conference, they open their phone, they're looking at their Facebook to find out what's going on, and your advert will appear. So don't always be thinking about, well, I can only target in this location. No, you can target another location, particularly if you sell something online, and it's going to target people at a conference or an event that potentially are looking for your products or services. Okay, this is just how you create an audience, and it's just taking you through that process, which we've had a look at already. So just taking you through those. And defining where your audience is. I mean, you can narrow that down, so, and you can choose whether it's men, women, all. You can change your age group, you can change your location, you can change, you know, how narrow that is. You can even target, I just want to target these cities, so you could put in 5 different cities and you just want to target in those those cities. So, you know, there's lots you can do with your advertising, lots you can change up. So definitely have a look at those. Oops, sorry. And then it'll show you, you know, your demographics. So as it's saying there, you know, somebody's put in shopping and fashion, it's saying there that's an interest rather than a behaviour. So have a look at those and check what you're getting from those. And in this case, it's showing, you know, if it's too low, too high, exactly. So it's not about massive budget, it's about making it work for you. The other thing that you'll see there, I haven't got a slide that shows it, but you'll see kind of 2/3 of the way down the left-hand side, it says daily budget. You can change that to be a lifetime budget. And the lifetime budget will be, let's say we run an advert for 2 weeks. And rather than doing it as a daily budget, if you run it as a lifetime budget and it knows it's over 2 weeks, Facebook will go, okay, well, I've got this amount to spend, but I need to spend it wisely over this period of time. Right, well, I know from experience and from looking at engagement on the page or this type of demographic, these people are more active online at this time of day, this particular day, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it might be. So use that to your advantage. The default is to set it as daily budget, but I would change it to be lifetime budget, because then it's making your money work harder for you. Because if you leave it as a daily budget and you say spend £5 a day, guess what? Facebook will spend £5 a day. So change it up and do that. You can also define the actual hours that you put your advert out. So if you feel that nobody's going to be looking at your advert overnight, you can actually select the hours that you change. And you can only do that when you've changed it from daily budget to lifetime budget. But then you can go, I only want it to work on a Saturday between 10 and 4 and Sunday between 12 and 6 or whatever it might be. So you can change it and make it really work for you that way. Okay, and it's just taking you through that process. So yeah, telling you how much you're spending. Okay, and then, you know, it'll show you results. So where will people see your advert? There's various different places. And again, I'd always recommend that you leave this to let people, you know, let Facebook choose where your advert's been seen, but it can be in any of these, in Facebook, in Instagram. Even if you haven't got Instagram, your advert might still show in Instagram if it feels that that's a relevant location for you. Audience network is apps, third-party apps. So if you've ever downloaded an app and you've seen an advert on there, wondered why, it could potentially be a Facebook advert. So that's all that audience network is. It might be seen in Messenger. So you might see some adverts in Messenger, and that's because somebody's kind of gone, yeah, let it be seen in that location. Or workplace, which is Facebook's like intranet, if you like. So it's any of those that it can be seen. And we recommend that you just let Facebook decide where it shows your advert. Choose your ad format. So it could be a carousel, so a number of different pictures that scroll along. It might be a single image. It could be a video, a slideshow that's created. It's creating a slideshow from images that you've uploaded, or it could be a collection that you're putting in there. If you're not sure and you want some examples or you want some ideas, great website. If you Google Facebook Creative Hub, you'll get to this, and you can click on any one of those tabs on the left hand side and it'll give you examples of those particular ideas. Have a look at that. There's some great carousel ones in there, some great examples of different sort of advertising creatives in there. It'll give you some inspiration to just look at your own, possibly. This is just a carousel one that this company did, and they got 7 times return on the ad spend, three times increase year over year in online sales. And this is just a carousel that they put together. This is a slideshow. They just took loads of pictures of different socks. And again, the results that they got is twice return on ad spend and 2.4 increase in click-through rate, and it costs 50% less to get people to their website. And then the final example is just this one that did a video. What they saw is 4.5 times return on the ad spend and 26% lift in engagement. So much more engagement just by spending a little bit of time and money on the advertising. So some key takeaways for this section. You know, page promotions can help you get started with Facebook advertising. Make use of the page roles that allow you to run the ads. So different people can do ads, even if you're not, it's not your page. You can allow external people, if you like, to just do your ads. Choose a type of ads based on your business goals. Use eye-catching creative. I've seen this so many times where people put an advert together and they think about all the things behind it in terms of the audience, but then the actual visual, what people see and what people, you know, read is not that great. And think about your target audience based on gender, age, location, and interests. Set a budget. In terms of budget, as I said, you don't need to spend a lot of money. It's about testing and learning. So put a small budget on, see how it goes. And what we found is when we've done adverts is if you put maybe £100, but in a lower period, not the 2 weeks, but maybe run it for a week or even over a weekend. And just, I mean, I know a cake maker who they recognize there was a certain event coming up, like a wedding fair, and they put like £20 over a weekend, but they were very specific in what they were trying to target, and they saw massive results from that. So it's not about big budget, it's about understanding and testing and learning and working out who your audience is and what people want to see, that kind of thing. So okay, questions. So quickly before we get on to the next stage. So any questions, Andreas?
Hi, Janet. Yes, we've got only one question for now.
Okay.
And this is how it sounds. So one person has been attending a Facebook and Instagram session previously, and you know, the host was talking about algorithm changes, and you know, he was told that any organic posts now only have 1.5% reach. Boosting the post, you know, doesn't help any much, you know, anymore, so to say. And sponsored posts, you know, sponsored option is the only way to go for now. So if you are including any sales and outside or website links, what are your thoughts on this, please? You know, is the sponsored option better than the boost option?
Yes. So, and they're totally right. In terms of organic reach, you're not going to see a great result from organic reach unless the content that you put on your Facebook page is interesting. It's the thing is, for me, with organic posts, you've got to think about what do people want to see. If you're trying to sell to people through Facebook and directly sell and be very, very overt with that, then you're not going to get great results. It's a bit like if I sat here and went, you know, come to my Facebook page and have a look at the one-to-one training that we do and the account management, and if I were talking like that all the time, you'd be switching off straight away. However, if I build a relationship with people and we, like, if you were to look at ours, and ours is I'd say a good example, only because I know that what we try to do is we try to build engagement and we try to build relationships with people, because we know on the back of that we'll get sales. So it's, the sales isn't the first bit, it's the end result. But what we're looking at is posting stuff that people want to see and want to engage with. So like we did one at Easter that's about just an Easter egg across the screen and those kind of things. So it's creating something that people, it's fun, it's engaging, it's got some emotional connection, and that's, you'll get a better result from the organic post from that. So yes, they're right. In terms of the advertising, it is very much a case of test and learn and try some things differently. And the more that you do that, the better results you'll get, really. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
We've got one more. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Retargeting a location. Does Facebook recognize where someone is at a particular time, or is your location where a Facebook user is registered to live?
No, it depends on whether you've got your GPS on your phone, and chances are you have got your GPS on your phone. So you might have seen, and I certainly have, if I've been somewhere, I might not have even been into the restaurant, but if I go into my local village, which is Home Firth, I might walk past. We were talking about this before we got on the webinar. There's a lovely bar in the centre of Home Firth, Magic Rock. I might walk past Magic Rock, but within about an hour or so, I might get a message on my Facebook that said, how did you enjoy being at Magic Rock? I haven't been at Magic Rock, but I've walked past it, but it knows I've walked past it. And what Facebook is doing there is targeting me because it knows I've been in that location. So no, it's not about physically where, you know, you're set up, if you like. It's more about where your audience is moving around, if that makes sense. So, okay. Anybody else for now, or?
Yeah, but this is a bit of a like duplicate question. You already covered this, but someone is asking, what is a sponsored post?
So a sponsored post is just basically you're putting a post out there, so you're just doing something organically, and then you'll see on the bottom of the post, it'll just say sponsor post. It's just the same as a booster post. It's the same thing. So it's just different terminology, but it's the same thing. So we used to see sponsor post, booster post. It's that. So if you see something that's sponsored, it means it's an advertisement. So yeah. So if you're seeing something in your news feed, and I guarantee you, if you look down your news feed on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, the second post that you see when you're going down news feed will be a sponsored post, and that's an advert. And why is that the case? It's because actually businesses are paying to be in that space, if you like. So Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Make sure, you probably see it on Instagram as well now. Make sure that the second post that you see in your newsletter, doesn't matter how many times you refresh it, you'll always see an advert as a second post on there. So
I
have a look. No, try it. It's when it's pointed out to you, you go, oh yeah, it is actually, yeah. And you don't realize it. And that's the whole beauty of it, is like people are advertising all the time, but we're not always aware that those advertisements are in our space.
All right.
Okay.
I've got one more question. It says, I put this on the chat. Our business is leisure, and we are closed. We are trying to keep customers engaged. Any thoughts or tips? Yeah,
I mean, I think probably the webinar that we did the other week, which is about, you know, what you can do within this period and you know, for now, and what you can do moving forward, maybe would be a good one to have a look at. It's on the YouTube channel, I know for a fact. So right now, you can't really sell to people, let's say, and people don't want to be sold to. What they want to do is they still want to engage with those businesses. So one of the examples, and it might be something that you can do something like this. So one of the examples on the webinar that we talked about COVID-19 the other week was we have a local cafe, small cafe. They can only take about 10 seats, 10 people in there. And what they're doing at the moment, they can't do any takeout. They can't do any delivery and pickup. They just are not able to do that. But what they are doing is on a Saturday morning, they have a Zoom coffee chat. So grab yourself a coffee, sit down, we'll set up a Zoom, and everybody come and chat to us together. So maybe using something like Zoom right now, or Facebook Lives, to do something that's just kind of engaging with people and keeping people connected with you, keeping your brand in front of people's, you know, in front of their screens is a good thing to do, because you don't want people to forget you and then them go somewhere else when we do start coming out of the lockdown situation. So, so maybe doing some things like that. You know, what can you do? Can you do anything over this weekend that's about VE Day, for example? You know, can you have you know, a virtual street party or something like that? So it's those kind of things that I'd recommend. So, yeah.
All right, great advice. Thank you.
And, okay.
One more question, but that would be for me. So quite a few people are asking, will this recording or the webinar will be emailed to them? So yes, the webinar will be emailed to you guys in a follow-up email once this webinar is finished, so don't worry about it. You'll be able to access it on our YouTube channel. And we've got no more questions for now, Janet, so we're good to keep on going.
Okay, cool, thank you. Okay, so the next bit is all about our pixel codes. So how we use pixel codes. Now, I know that for some people on the webinar, this may not be relevant. So if you're not actually driving traffic to a website, or you haven't got things where people can purchase things on a website, then it's probably not for you. But then after this bit, what we'll look at is we'll look at the looking at your stats and looking at your you know, your analytics, if you like, of your adverts and stuff. So, but if you know, we'll just get through this bit. Now, this bit is for a lot of people the most confusing bit, let's say. But there is we've seen some great results from adding a pixel code into either our clients, you know, so into their website, or our own actually, and I'll sort of talk you through that as we go through. So what is a pixel code? How do you implement it and use the code, and some best practices? So first of all, what is it? So it's just a small piece of code that is added to your website, and it means that Facebook can then access that and then take advantage of that and retarget people within Facebook. So how the Facebook pixel code works is a person visits a website, the pixel gathers the information that the company has chosen to share on how this person is interacting with the website, and I'll explain what I mean a little bit more in detail in a little while. And the pixel then helps to match that person with a Facebook profile. So, and then you know, the website and Facebook can use this information to target, optimize, and measure those results. So if you've ever been onto like Amazon, for example, and you've looked at some red shoes, and then the next minute you go to Facebook and lo and behold, there's an advert there for the very red shoes that you saw on Amazon, that's because there's the little bit of code in that particular part of Amazon that knows that you've looked at that piece, that item, but you might not have purchased at that stage. So another one that I've seen is I bought a handbag, well, my husband bought me a handbag actually for Christmas, by a company called Elvis and Krell, K-R-E-L-L-E, Elvis and Krell. And they're amazing handbags. I'm not a big handbag fan, but the handbag is made by recycled fire hoses of all things. Sounds really strange, but they're actually very, very high-end handbags, and 50% of the profit of the handbags goes to the fire services in the UK. So it's a brilliant business. I love the concept of it. I love that they give something back. I love that it's recycled. But actually, when I went onto their social media, guess what? They're spending some money on advertising, and now I see their handbags all the time. And it's purely because I went to the website, I looked at their website, I saw the handbags, and then I see their handbags in my newsfeed. And that's because of this little pixel code that they've got on the website that then knows I've been on the website, and it retargets me within Facebook. Okay, so it's targeted, it's optimized, it's measuring, and it's gaining that insight, and it's making it work for you. So setting up your pixel code, I'm just going to go through how you install it, how to check if it's working, and how to set up some what they call events or custom conversions. So to create a pixel code, you go to your business manager, you'll see the drop down to the left hand side, you'll see at the bottom where it says all tools, click on that, and then in the middle of the screen there, you'll see halfway down a little tab that says pixels. Click on that, and then it takes you to this screen, and this is where you create your pixel. So you'll see in the bottom of the screen there, create a pixel, and that's how you create your pixel. So it gives you a little bit of code, and there's two different things you can do. You can either manually set it up, or if you've got something like Shopify or WooCommerce or a WordPress site, you can actually just integrate it with those. And so I'm just going to show you the partner integration. You've got a little tab there, click on that and it takes you to partner integration, where you should just be able to, it'll show you which ones it kind of works with, what Facebook are working with. So you can use any of these, so Ticketmaster, WooCommerce, there's Drupal, lots of different ones. And it just means that you can click on that and it'll take you through that whole process of integrating it into your website. There's 3 different options in terms of installing Pixel. So you connect with your partner platform, or you can do it manually, or easiest way, if you have a web developer, you can literally email the instructions to your web developer and they will put that in there for you. So there might be a charge, but if you're not technically minded, it's not something that's your skill set, just send the code to your web developer and they'll be able to put that in. So the code that you get is this. And as I say, if you're not technically minded, I aren't, and all we did is we have a web developer that we work with, and we send ours to our web developer and he puts it in there for us. But this is where it needs to sit. So it sits in your header of your website. So then it's kind of tracking the whole of the website. This is the base code, and where it says the number there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, you'll have a unique number that's unique to your business. And then we're going to go through some standard events. So standard events are, the top one there is looking right across your website. But if you had a specific thing, you want people you only want to track people that go to add to cart, and then you just want to retarget those people that have gone to add to cart, and then you want to retarget those. You can put a little bit of code in that will track just that page. So rather than tracking your whole website, it's only going to be tracking one element of it. So it's called an event, if you like. So and there's some standard pixel events that you can set up. So these are all the standard ones that are in Facebook. Just gives you a bit of code that you can drop in there, and you can track these different ones that are there. Now you might have, as we did, we've got a page that's our page is called services or something like that. So it's all well and good that you've got these standard pixel events, but actually what if you want to do a custom one, and there is a way that you can do that. So setting up an event, so if you just want to set up one of the events that are already in Facebook, this is how you would do it. Go to pixels, and then you'll see this screen once you get on there, and then you get to go to event setup tool, and you can set up an event. So this is, I feel it's a little bit confusing because people think of events as a physical event, but this is a pixel event. So it's a tracking event, if you like. It's something that's happening on your website that you want to track. Okay. So, and then you title the actual event, and this is what you'd get. So you'd get like it'll show you how many people have actually in that one there. It's page views and how many people have actually looked at your website. So it's tracking that. Sometimes it's worth doing this for a period of time before you run an advert, and it's basing it on the people that have gone to your website, then you're going to do an advert to retarget those people that have visited your website in like the last 30, 60, 90 days. So you can set those going. So it could be, as I've sort of said, it depends on where you are in that customer journey, depends on what advert you want to run. So whether it's page views, you just want people to find you, they're just searching. It could be that it's wanting to convert leads. applications, purchase to it, you know, intent. So they're thinking of buying, but they've not actually purchased. So you can target those people that have gone to your add to cart, but they haven't actually purchased. Or you can go and you can target people that have actually purchased from your website. So it depends on where you are, depends on what you want to target, whether it's any of those, you know, and again, we're down to our funnel of where we want to target those people. What you can do is you can download a little bit of, it's a Google Chrome app, a Google Chrome extension called Facebook Pixel Helper. So if you have this you probably can get it on Apple as well. I'm not sure. I use Windows, so that's why I mentioned Google Chrome. But there's something called a Google. It's a Facebook Pixel Helper, and you'll see there's a little bit in the top right hand corner. If a website's got a pixel code in it, if it hasn't got one, that icon will just be grey. If it has got one, and you've got the Pixel Helper on your browser, that will be green. So I can tell which websites have got a pixel code in their website. So I know whether they're actually tracking my view of their website and potentially could retarget me on Facebook. So you're not going to get everybody retargeting you just because you've gone on a website that's got that pixel code in. It depends if they're running adverts. It depends if you're their demographic, but it is a good way of actually seeing whether somebody is tracking people that have gone to their website. So you can test your events, so make sure that they're running. So there's a verification and troubleshooting element of the pixel code in your business manager. So just go to the diagnostics on the left-hand side. And if you look in there, it will tell you if there's anything not working, and you can then get it working. Because sometimes it's a little bit faffy to set it up, which is why, you know, I'd always recommend you send that code into a developer rather than maybe trying to input it yourself. But again, it depends on your technical skills. So how to get the most out of your pixel code. So as it says here, person visits the website, views your home page, but doesn't make a purchase. Pixel code uses that hashed information to match the people that have been to your website with the people on Facebook. And if there's a match, then they can retarget that person with the ads. So you have to run the ads, obviously, for that product or whatever it is that they put in the basket but maybe didn't buy. Okay, and you can also use that custom audience that you've set up through this process to then create a custom audience that they can then use to find a new set of people and define a lookalike audience. So people that look like the people that have already purchased from you. Yeah, what it does is it learns from that person visiting the page, regular places orders, Pixel then hashes the information, and it identifies that and finds people with similar characteristics. So that's your lookalike audience element. So it's going to find more people based on the people that are already visiting your website. So in the main, with tracking and with your custom audiences and lookalike audiences, what you can build into that is usually emails and mobile numbers, because those are the things that you need to put in to set up a Facebook profile. However, with this matching process within the pixel code, you can also you can target by first name, last name, cities, postcodes, genders, all of those types of things. So you can ask Facebook to match based on some other elements rather than it just being email and telephone number. So you might want to think about that if there's particular, if your product is only it's purchased by men or purchased by women or of an age group, then you could do that, or in a certain location you can target by that. Custom conversions, as I mentioned earlier, so some of the things that, you know, you've got all those standard events, if you like, that are set up, but you might have a particular page name on your website that you want to track that page name that isn't one of the events in the event manager options, as we have. I can't remember what the page name is, but something like services. So what you can do is you can set up custom conversions, and a custom conversion will look for that wording in your website, and it will track people that have gone onto a page that's named that particular name. So that's a custom conversion. So this is how you create a custom conversion. Okay, so have a look at those and you know, maybe set some of those up. We found it to be very beneficial because it's very, very targeted. So the more targeted you can be on your advertising with your demographic and what people are doing, the better results you'll get. So implement the pixel code, track the metrics, troubleshoot and verify your pixel setup, choose the right optimization and target strategy, and you know, make that work harder for you. So and maybe use the custom features if some of your website is not your standard text on there, let's say. Okay. Are we okay so far? Is there any questions on that particular bit?
Yes, we do have a few questions.
Yep.
So the first one is, what is the Facebook pixel actually using to match website visits to Facebook profiles, IP addresses, Facebook logon on same device? I'm not really sure. What is the Facebook pixel actually using to match website visits to Facebook profiles, IP addresses, Facebook logon on same device?
That's a very good question that I actually don't know the answer to, Andreas. To be fair, I would imagine, I wouldn't have thought it's your IP address. It's probably more matching data. You'll notice that most, you know, one of the things that we have to have in order to do the pixel code, you'd have to have your, you have to have a policy, a privacy policy in there. And it'll be the, I'm not sure if it is the IP address or the actual login details. It can't be the login details. It's got to be the IP address, I think. So I'm not sure is the answer. Yeah. I don't know the answer to that.
No, that's fine. Right. Can pixels be set up to track multiple events?
Yes, because you'd have multiple events. So we've done this with ours. We had one that was set up to just to look for people that were looking for websites, for example, within our website, because we do websites. We're looking for another one that did AR, so we do some augmented reality hosting. So things like that. So you can set up different events. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you need to put a different pixel code on each web page, or is it one across all pages and the event changes depending upon the call to action on the page?
Yeah, so you have one pixel code. You can only have one pixel code per ad account. So you have one pixel code on your website, but you might have various different events or custom conversions. So you set up your pixel code, which is the main element, if you like, and then you have events or custom conversions. So yes, it's one pixel code. It used to be much more confusing than that. So you'd have multiple pixel codes, but they standardized it probably about maybe 18 months or 2 years ago. So it's a little bit of it's confusing if you've done stuff previously and then you've kind of tried it and then gone, I can't get my head around this, but actually try again, because they have made it work a bit better than it was doing, let's say. So yeah.
Okay. Another one. How does Facebook advertising compare to Google Ads? Should I consider using both?
It depends on your business, depends on what you're trying to do, depends where your audience is. So we have, for example, we've got one client who they do car remapping. I had no idea what car remapping was. So I do now. And for them, their demographic is obviously primarily men. of a certain age that like their posh cars, and probably they're not going to look as much in Facebook, let's say, as they are on Google. So they're probably going to Google, how do I remap my car? So for them, Google Ads is working really well. They are using Facebook as well as like a secondary mechanism, if you like, but the primary one is Google Ads. However, somebody like the coffee shop that's down the road from us, people are not going to Google as much for a local coffee shop. They will still do that, but they'll get more results from using something like Facebook. So it depends on your business, is what I would say. And in terms of, is one better than the other? It's great for us right now, because what's happening is Google and Facebook are competition. So what they both want to do is make sure that their advertising is the most cost-effective advertising out there, which is why we're seeing so much input that Facebook are putting into the advertising and making it work for people, is because they want you to use their platform as opposed to Google. And Google have kind of gone, whoa, hang on a minute here, you're taking all our ad spend. We're going to do some stuff differently to make sure that you're still advertising with us. So it's good for the consumer, us as businesses, because they're both kind of trying to outmatch each other.
Right, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff. Another one, do all social media have their own pixels? Referring Twitter and Instagram, what's the life of a pixel? I think that the question was, what's the length of the life of the pixel? But
okay, so yes, you can track. They're all different, but you can track in the same way within LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. So they'll have, it might not be called a pixel code, but there is coding, let's say, that you can add into your website. That means that if somebody's gone to your website and then you go to the social media platform, then it's going to have that retargeting process. Yes. Do you have to have more than one pixel code? No. Once you've set it up, that's it. It's set. It's your pixel code. It's a bit like, probably most people won't be aware, but every business page has got its own business ID. That's never going to change. Every advertising, when you set up an advertising account, every advertising account has its own ID. So it's that. So pixel, just think of it as an ID, if you like. But that ID is linked, if you like, to your business page and your ad spend. It's linked to the ad, basically. It's linked to the ad account. So the money side of things, if you like. So yeah.
Okay. Another one. Do Facebook charge for a pixel code? That is a no.
No, it's no. Yeah, they don't charge for it. No.
Another one. If only one pixel code per account, how does it handle a situation where there is one website and another, say, a third-party e-commerce site? So the first one is information or etc., and another one, let's say it's a third-party e-commerce site. Wouldn't this need 2 pixels?
No, you still have 1 pixel, but you can put it in both websites. So you can put it in both websites, but you still have 1 pixel. So if you've got 1 Facebook page and you've got 2 websites or platforms, if you like, you can put the pixel code, 1 pixel code, in both of those that will track it back to that Facebook page. What you can't have is the other way around. So like, we have a client, they have 2 different Facebook pages. And when this first started working with us, they had 1 pixel code for the 2 different Facebook pages, and they wanted to track different things on different pages. So we're like, well, you're best having this pixel code for this one and set up a new pixel code for this one. So there are 2 websites, 2 Facebook pages, but they only had 1 pixel code that was tracking from 2 websites, and we changed that. So we changed the pixel code in one of the websites, so it's going to 1 Facebook page, and the other website was going to the second one. Hopefully that makes sense. So it is about understanding what the pixel code is. If you think about your ad account in the middle of this, where you've got your Facebook page and you've got your website, it's linking it through the ad account, the money that you're spending. basically, really. Yeah.
Okay. Right. We've got no more questions for now.
Okay. So we've got one last section to go through, which is the just the measuring of your adverts, and then we'll obviously come back for more questions after that if we've got time, Andreas. So that's
I mean, we can even extend the session to 12:30. I mean, you know, that's our kind of timeline. But if it extends even more, then don't feel the need to rush or squeeze anything so harshly. People won't understand.
Okay, that's fine, no problem. Okay, so the last section is a smaller section anyway, so it's just about looking at some of the results that we get and how do we measure those, and looking at the your panel of when you've done your adverts, what does it all mean? So we'll have a look through that. So we'll look at the ads report. If you've had a look at this, and there's various different reports that you can look at. We'll look at customizing report metrics based on your objectives and your targets and your cost per action. Looking at some best practices, how you can maybe save and schedule some reports as we're going through the process. So as we said, align your business goals to your campaign objectives. So, again, right back to the start of the webinar, I can't stress enough, it's about establishing what your goals are. What do you want to achieve? Because if you're looking to measure them, you're not going to be able to measure them unless you know what you're trying to achieve in the first place. So making sure that you're doing that. So align your business goals with your campaign objectives, create those campaigns using your ad creative flow. So whether that is through the, not through your boosted post, but through the promote tab and those options that you got there, or through the ads manager. So going through the ads manager and creating that flow of, well, what advert do I want to do? Who's my audience? How much am I going to spend? Where do I want it to be seen? And what does it look like? What's the wording? What's the picture that I want people to see, or video, if you like? Customizing it, saving it, and scheduling those reports. And then obviously what you're going to be able to do there is analyze and work out, if I know all those elements, I can then work out what's the best performing adverts and how do I change it up? What do I need to change to make it work even better? So connect your objectives with your overall business goals is what I've already just said. So whether that's, if we're thinking about our funnel, is it awareness, is it consideration, or is it conversion? So what is it that we're trying to achieve? So this is just an example of an ad. So, and what you would see. So if you'd promoted a post, and if you're looking at the back end of your page, basically if you go to the ad center, second tab on the left there, click on that, you'll get this page, and it will show you how much have you spent, how much per page, what's the engagement, what's the links, those kind of things. So, and it's telling you a snapshot there of your advert. So it's just an overview of what advertising you've done of late. And if you click on all ads, it will show you all the ads that you've created on there. And you can, once you've got those ads, so in this case, we've got 2 adverts that's showing, click on view results and you'll get this element. So it'll show you how many clicks, how many people has it reached, how much did it cost per click. That might not be one of your metrics, by the way, so you might not see that if that's not one of the advertising options that you chose. It will give you a preview of that advert. So what was the advert? Because if you're running a few different adverts, you might have forgotten what it looks like. So it's just showing you what it looks like there. And as we scroll down, it will also tell you kind of how many, how much engagement did we get? What it linked, clicks, what it comments, was it shares? What's your demographic? So you see on the right hand side there, the audience, it'll tell you how many women, how many men. In this case, we got whatever the advert was. It wasn't an advert we ran, by the way, it's just an example. A lot more men than women. And it also tells you there the demographic. So there was a lot of older demographic men rather than younger. Now that might be that that's exactly what they wanted to see. It looks like the picture is of an aeroplane, which again, not to be sexist, but that probably is understandable. You know, they got the results that they were expecting, but you know, it is really, really important that you look at this, because sometimes you might run an advert that you feel is relevant to a particular demographic and you might not get the results that you expected. So for example, we ran one for a local restaurant that was a client of ours, and they're what they do is it's like a meat, like a barbecue type restaurant where you go and you have two, a red and a green disc, and if you want more meat you put it green, and if you don't want any more meat you put it red, and you keep switching over. We did an advert for them, and our demographic we thought would be younger men, and we thought it would be men rather than women, and what we actually found was it was men and women, and there was like a younger demographic, then it dipped, and then there was an older demographic. So actually what we got is we found that we had some young people interested, then in the middle not so many, which is kind of understandable because it's maybe families that are not going out to eat because they maybe haven't got the budget to do so, and then we had an older demographic that that was being presented. So it's an interesting one for us to have a look and see actually who was engaging with that advert. So evaluating your ad performance, making it optimized. So we've kind of shown this as well. So yeah, okay. Apologies, that's just sort of a duplication of that. Oh yeah, so what you can do is if you've run an advert, or one thing that we haven't talked about very much is running an advert, and you might kind of run it for a couple of days and go, actually, it's not running exactly as I want it to run. So then what you can do is you can go into this element and you can edit your advert. So don't assume that because you've set an advert, well, that's it, I've spent my money, it's running for 2 weeks and it's not going exactly how I want it to. You could maybe, you know, change it. It might be that you need to change the wording or the audience or change your budget. You might want to stop it completely and set something else up. So it is worth having a look at how you can edit your promotions. As it says there, you can pause them. So if you've started running them and like, actually, let's just stop that because we're not really sure that that's the best advert for us, you can just pause it, or you can cancel it altogether. So pause or cancel them. So your ads reports, if you wanted to, that's just what I've just shown you there is just something in the back end of your page. But if you wanted to look and really analyze the ads that you've set up, you can go to your ads manager account and analyze it from here. So if you've set up business manager, you'll get access to all this. So you'll have your ads manager account, and then if you click on that, you'll be able to access those. We'll show you that in more detail in a moment. So there's 4 different levels to your ad campaigns. So there's your account details, your campaign level, your ad set, and then your actual ads itself. And you'll have one account, you might have a few campaigns going, you might have a few ad sets within that, and you might have a few ads in that. It's entirely up to you. It depends on what your campaign is, and if you've got multiple campaigns happening, or you might have just have one campaign and you might have a few different ad sets in there, and you might have a few different adverts. So as it says there, your campaign is what's your objective, what you're trying to achieve, and your ad set is who you're targeting. So you can change it up. You could do multiple different ones. You might have different audiences. You might have different sort of visuals, different text, different locations. It's, there's a whole host of different things that you can do. And yes, you can do some split testing. So you can do some A/B testing. So you can try one advert that's kind of going, well, I'm doing one advert, but I'm doing 2 different audiences, but it's got the same text and the same visual. Or you could do one audience and 2 different visuals and text. So So, you know, there's multiple different things you can do in here. So in the account overview and the account element, if you like, it's just helping you to see the general health, as it says there, of your campaigns. So it's just an overview of everything that's in there, looking at your, you know, your demographic and any budget, and where your advert's being seen. So it's just all your general information in there. You know, who we're targeting, who's seeing it, is it more men than women? And if we were to tab across there where it says age and gender, you'll see a split there and a breakdown of in more detail, which is really interesting to look at. And then if you look further down, it will tell you, well, which regions, which countries are seeing my adverts. And obviously, if you're targeting people in the UK, you want to have a look at this and make sure that it is just targeting people in the UK. So, you know, it's worth having a look at this and checking back on this on a regular basis. So, you know, depending on what your ad objective would depend on what your success metric is. So if it's brand awareness, it might be, you know, your estimated impressions. So how many impressions are you getting and how much is it costing per impression? So how many people are actually seeing your page and your posts? It's that kind of metric. So, and having a look at those, then you can track, well, actually, we've set an advert going that's all about brand awareness. Are we seeing the number of impressions increase? And how much are we being charged for those impressions? If it is reach, are we getting some unique reach? So is it people that we are already aware of? Are we getting more people? Is it people that are new to the business page? So it's those kind of things. In terms of consideration, as it says there, traffic, are we getting more clicks through to the website? What's your cost per click? How much is it costing you for each of those clicks? And so what's your click through? So, and they're going to change, you know, depends on, that's all dependent on your advertising, as in who's your audience, and how much budget you put on that. And there's a whole host of different things, but do have a look at those and see how much, you know, how much traffic you get into your website, how much is it costing you for that click through, and is there a value to that? So, and sometimes it's not always trackable if you're not purchasing something. So yes, it's fine if there is a cost on the website. If you're purchasing something through the website, it's easier to track. But like for us, we might get click-throughs to the website, but we don't actually sell anything on our website as such. We sell a few things, but not a great deal. But the cost for us is then, are we getting inquiries from that? And so one of the things that we ask when people start to work with us, how did you find out about us? And we kind of get people to talk us through that whole process of how they found out. And sometimes it's multiple things. So it's not quite as simple as, oh yeah, we went on social media, we clicked through to the website and therefore we rang you. It doesn't work quite like that. For us, it doesn't. We know there's multiple channels. So us being on social media, we've got an office, it's on the high street, so people seeing our office. It's those multiple touch points, if you like, that lead people to contact us either by email or to ring us up and that kind of thing. But what we are doing is we are tracking that, and we want people to go to the website because we want people to be aware of the different products and services that we offer. Engagement, so that post engagement, page likes, those kind of things. It's how many clicks are you getting to an actual post that you put out there, how many page likes are you getting, how many responses are you getting. So, you know, are you tracking those? So you're tracking that if I'm setting up an advert, this is the result I got from the advert. And that lead generation, how many more leads are you getting from that whole process? So, and at the bottom there, sales, are you getting more money in than you're spending on your ads? So we've seen some examples earlier of a couple of businesses where they are tracking that whole process, and what they've done is they've worked out that actually this is how much we spend on advertising, but this is the cost of a product, and therefore we need to make sure that if we're doing the advertising, that we're making more from the sales of the products than we are from paying for the adverts and that kind of process. So yeah. Are you tracking how many people come into your store as a result of you doing some advertising? So it is important that you're looking back on this and tracking and making sure that your adverts are cost effective, because if you're not doing this, then you're just doing adverts for the sake of doing adverts, really, if you're not aware of what you're trying to achieve. So in the account level, what you'll see is this overview. You'll see how many people, in this case, have gone website purchases. So they've seen a track of the website purchases as a cost in terms of the cost per website purchase. So they've put in a metric in there of how much an item is, and then they can track that whole process. And at the top level, you'll see website purchases 117, down on the previous period. They've got 377,000 reach. Again, that's slightly down, but they've managed to increase their amount that they've spent on the actual ads, and the impressions are up as well. So at the campaign, it's showing you campaigns here, but we're not at the campaign level. So it's just showing that you've got 6 campaigns running for conversions and 4 campaigns for traffic, so building traffic through to the website. So this is kind of the overview, a snapshot of all the adverts that you're running, if you like. If we're looking at the campaign level, it shows you all the different campaigns that are running. So there's 10 campaigns that are running, and it's showing you those campaigns in that level, if you like. You can drill down to the bid strategy. They haven't got any bids on this, but it will show you the bid, how much. So if you're in a bidding, if you put up your advert to bid rather than, so you're saying how much you want it to bid, then it'll show you this in here. It'll tell you how much your budget, how much you're using, how much you've spent. It'll give you the results, so you can see from that which ones actually are getting some results, and track, so we've got a few different ones in there that, different campaigns that are running. You can have a look at those and see which ones are working best for you, which is, what's getting the highest reach, what's getting the most impressions. And often what we get is, well, what's the difference between reach and impressions? Impressions are how many people have seen it, how many people have seen it on the screen, how many people where's my advert been seen on the screen, how many times has it been seen? So that's the times of people, where it might be, I might see 3 times one advert, so that's each one of those is an impression. Whereas reach is how many times has somebody engaged with it, so have they liked it, have they commented on it, have they shared it, those kind of things. So the reach is, and how many people has it got out to, how many people has it reached is exactly that. So rather than how many times has it been seen, how many people has it been seen by, if you like. And then also at the campaign level, you can drill down to, you can get a chart in here that shows you, the results. So this is one of the things that we look at quite often is, well, what results have we got? How many people have, what's the results? How many people have gone to the landing page? How many people have viewed that? How much does it cost us in total? How much have we spent? And how many people has it reached? So, it's worth having a look at all of these metrics in here. At the ad set level, each of those campaigns that are running, we might have multiple ads that are running in those. So this is the different ads that are running for different, in this case, different items. So they're selling coats, pants, hats, whatever. So it's different items. So it can tell you, you can track not only your ad spend, but for those individual items, what are the reach, how much is it spending, how many people have seen it. And you can track right down to the amount that's spent on each of those then it's a case of tracking, well, it, you know, the item cost this amount, but this is the amount I've spent on the advert. And then what you're seeing at the last level, the ad spend at the ad level, is what does it look like? What actual visuals do we use? And we can drill down to each one of those and maybe track on those and have a look and see, well, why has that performed better than another? What, you know, what was the visual? What was the text on that? I need to run more of those adverts, or this one didn't perform, therefore I just need to scrap that one. It's not really working for me. And again, you can define down to your demographic, your placement and your delivery on each of those as well. So yep, create your adverts, and after you've run your adverts, go back to, you know, who was I trying to market to? Did the image and the text, what did it look like in the ad? Evaluate how long it ran for and how much did you spend, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be spending more money on the advert than you're actually making from the product or service that you're trying to get people to engage with. So have a look at those, do test those and work out whether it's actually performed the way that you want it to perform. There's a lot of information in there and it can feel quite overwhelming, I have to say. But the example that I've shown you there, obviously they've got multiple campaigns, multiple sort of ads that are ongoing, and multiple assets to that. But maybe try and just do something on a smaller basis and start and do, like I said earlier, doing maybe an A/B test. Do one audience, two visuals, you know, two different creatives, or do one creative and create two different audiences to run that with. Reporting out of that, so yes, you can adjust your time frame. So you might see in the top right hand corner where you've got your calendar, but you can go into there and you can change that. So you can, it's got some preset dates, or you can choose, well, I want to see how it performed in the month of July, 1st of July to the 31st of July, or whatever it might be. And you can just have a look and see month on month, or quarter on quarter, or whatever you want to track. You can track those in there. Yeah, so there is a bit of a delay. So you wouldn't be able to track sometimes like how's it done today. It would have to be, you know, the previous day and that kind of thing. You can break it down into, you know, you might want to see, well, I just want to see how it's done in the last couple of days, or you might want to rather by time. It might be by certain actions or delivery. So there's loads of breakdowns you can do in there. So, you know, there's lots of metrics in there that you can drill down to if you like. You can customize your columns. So like if bid strategy is not something that actually is of relevance to you, you can take that out and you can put another column in there. There's loads of different columns that you can add in. So it might be, well, I want to see the bit that's important to me is the engagement, or, you know, I've got a carousel advert. I want to see the engagement on the carousel. So there's lots of different things you can do in there. And then you can export your report. So you'll see an export button there, and you can have it where it's exporting a table. So you can analyze that data rather than looking at it in this format. You can export it into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can have a look at that in more detail and have those custom reports. And you can even share that link with other people if you wanted to do so as well. Another thing that you can do is you can schedule those reports. So if you wanted to analyze it on a month-by-month basis, so rather than just having to go in here and do all that, you can just get those reports scheduled so that it's set up to send you those reports as well. And there you go. So these are reports that have been created, so every 28 days or whatever it might be. So, yep, before we start doing any adverts, create your campaign, make sure you've got your goals set, make sure that they're actionable with success metrics. Don't just run adverts and not really know if they've been successful. If you don't know what you're trying to achieve, you're not going to get any results. So it's about setting those, setting those goals first and foremost, and making sure that they're smart goals, so you know exactly what you're trying to achieve from those. Let Facebook learn, so create those campaigns, and you could use the auto ad setup if you wanted to do that, or using your custom audiences to create lookalike audiences. There's lots of things in there that's going to help you set those ads going. Create at least 2 ads to test different copy and text. So that's that A/B split testing. So making sure that you're working out, well, which advert's working best for us, which audience or which creative. So that and those are just a recap of those elements. So align your business goals with your advertising objectives. Keep your objectives and success metrics in mind when evaluating your results. Monitor your results and refine your campaigns based on performance. Maximize your data to reflect your business, and add the Facebook pixel for advanced functionality and insights. So that's the end of the webinar. There is a couple more slides to share with you. So just if you wanted to learn more yourself, there is Facebook Blueprint. As I said right at the beginning, I'm a Facebook Blueprint accredited trainer, but I've had to go through Blueprint myself in order to be accredited. It is broken down into the minutest little detail of it, which is good. In some respects, it can feel a little bit, again, some of it is like very basic, some of it is quite advanced, but it's worth, if you've got some time on your hands while we're in this position, it might be worth looking at that. There's no cost to do the Facebook training. If you want to be accredited, there is a charge for taking the test if you wanted to do that. But to do the actual learning, it is all free, it is all online. So, why not do some? It's worth doing it right now. That reminder of that resources, the 4 handouts that I mentioned right at the beginning, that's the link to get those downloads. So there's no, you don't have to sign up for anything to get those. They're just literally on that page. Go onto there, you can access them, you can download them. There's the 4 different ones. Great resources. They're from Facebook, they're not ours. So, have a look at those. There's some questions that it asks, or some of the stuff that we've gone through in the webinar. It asks you those questions on the handouts. So it's a good way of you kind of getting a good understanding of your business and how you can set your goals and that kind of thing. If you have, hopefully you've filled in some actions. Maybe one of them is to download those webinar action lists. Maybe one of them is to try and do some, setting up some adverts that is, rather than boost their post, it's through the promote button, or it's maybe setting up ads manager. So, do have a look at that and use this to your advantage. It's a good way of kind of just testing it and learning. Any questions, Andreas? We've come
yes,
to the
Janet. We've got quite a few questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So the first one, just to confirm again, a person is asking, can you add multiple pixel codes into the website header, for example, from 3 different Facebook pages or groups, as he didn't really quite understand that bit?
No, you have 1 pixel code for 1 ad account, which is linked to 1 page. So the answer is no, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Another one, well, this is a situational question, or, it really depends on the business. What is considered a good ROI for ads? And I think it mentioned, it means Facebook ads rather than Google ads.
Yeah. Again, that all depends. If you had something that was, you're selling a house, then you're going to spend quite a lot on advertising, because you know that that's a high ticket value product. if you're selling greeting cards, you don't want to spend as much on it. So it's that. However, what I would say is, again, you know, I mentioned right at the beginning, you don't have to spend a lot on the advertising. I personally feel that a lot of people go, oh, let's put £500 on that. But they've not thought about, actually, if I put £500, what do I need to achieve on the back of that ad spend to make it cost effective? So it's not about how much do I spend. It's about, I'm trying to do this, sell this product or sell this service or get people into this location. What's the value to that? And then working out your ad spend on that. So, but for a small business, you know, again, and this was advice from Facebook, it's not me saying this, but Facebook said, you know, your ad spend really for a 2-week advert for a small business is probably somewhere only in the region of £75 to £100. So it doesn't have to be a lot of money. I mean, we, you know, the example for us is the martial arts trainer that we're working with. We did an advert for them last week and they were like, well, right, we'll put an advert out for maybe a week and we'll put £100. And they were like, oh no, put £200. No, put £300. Like, no, you don't need to put £300 on, because are you going to get that amount of people coming in? If you are, then that's great. But, you know, test something first on a smaller budget, see how that's working, look at your demographic, look at your advert, look at how it's performed, and then use that to make another advert that's based on the first advert. That means that you're going to make your money work better for you. So there isn't you know, one size fits all. It is about test and learn, but you don't need to put a massive budget on it. It's about testing something out first. Like anything in life, the more you spend, the better results you'll get. But you've got to work out, if I'm spending this amount on advertising, what's my output? What am I trying to achieve? And is it worth that money that I'm investing in the advertising for the results that I'm getting? What we've seen is, and we didn't know why we got this, but we did get it, is if we put a larger budget but on a smaller time frame. So if we had £100 to spend, for example, and we spent that £100 over 2 weeks, or we did an advert over 2 days, we got better results in those 2 days than we did with that £100 over 2 weeks. So the shorter the time frame, the better results we got. So couldn't tell you why, but I know that that's what we've seen. So whether the Facebook's going, oh great, new advert, let's get it out there, I don't know the answer, but that's what we've seen.
Okay. Just to double confirm again, one question that you've already covered would be, could you please explain the reach versus impressions? What's the difference between them?
Yeah, so impressions is how many times your ad, if I've got you know, an advert, this is my advert, and you see it today and you see it tomorrow and you see it the day after and you see it the day, those are all impressions. It's how many times you've seen it. Okay, if somebody's seen it and then they, oh, I like that, so they like it or they share it or they comment on it, that's your reach. So the reach is the engagement, if you like, of how, and if they share it out. So if I shared that, and maybe you've got 100 people that like your page, but I share it, and I've got on my profile, I've got 100 friends and they all see it because I've shared it, that's your reach. So it's how many people see it.
Okay. And another one, a person is asking, can I export names, emails, etc. from my database to Facebook to add to the audiences that Facebook would recommend? And then can I import it back with the new users generated from my Facebook ads to the database that he, you know, exported it from the first time?
Okay, so when you import data into Facebook, you have to have marketing permission to market to those people. From a GDPR perspective, you cannot just go, and I'm not suggesting that whoever's asked the question is doing this, by the way. You can't just go, oh, I'll buy a load of data and I'll input into Facebook and I'll use that data. You can't do that. You have to have express permission to market to those individuals. When that data is added into Facebook, Facebook hash that data, and then they look for the people that have potentially got, well, that have got that same email address or telephone number, mobile number, because those are the two things that when you set up a profile, it will ask you for an email address and a mobile number. Why? Because then it can target those elements. So it will target those elements. But what you cannot do is you can't then extract that data. So let's say you've import that data, you've got people to engage with you with your advert. You can't then take that data and extract that back out. It won't allow you to do that. Okay. What you can do is if you input that data and one of your objectives is, I'm going to use the people that have already signed up to our newsletter to import in, set up an advert, do a custom audience, but those people have already signed up to my e-newsletter anyway, but then I'm going to set up a lookalike audience with the idea that then they go and sign up for my newsletter, then you're getting more sign-ups in your newsletter. Does that make sense? So sometimes it's about working out your customer journey, because one of them might be, the first one might be, right, well, I'm going to use that process to get more people into my newsletter and sign-ups, but then I'm going to retarget those because I'm going to direct them from my newsletter to the website, and I'm going to retarget them with a pixel code back in Facebook. So it's about multiple different adverts for multiple different reasons. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I hope that it does for the person who asked the question as well.
Good.
Right. We've got no more questions, to be honest, so I think we're good to wrap it up. And just before all of the people go, I just want to let them know that we've got another seminar, well, webinar, not a seminar, this Thursday, this week, and it will be for the WordPress for beginners. So if any of you are looking to, create a new website or improve your current one, please do join us on that webinar. And the registration link will be sent in the follow-up email. And there will be also a post-webinar survey, and we would be very grateful if you could complete it, because every feedback helps us a lot, and we do improve our webinars based on your feedback. And that would be it from us. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Well, afternoon now, and we hope that you gained a lot from today's session. If you do have any more questions, or if you want to connect with Janet, please feel free to do so. Her contact details will be in the follow-up email as well, so it's easy for you to find how you can connect with her. And thank you, everyone, and we look forward to all of you joining us in the next webinars. And thank you, and goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, Andreas, and goodbye, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.